Hey guys, so I know it's been a while since we've had one of these talks, especially on where I stand personally in my natural hair journey, and it has definitely been a journey. So many ups and downs and twists and turns and transformations, as we can all relate to. And now I am at a different crossroads and transformation when it comes to my natural hair evolution and journey. And I wanted to share that with you today. And before I get into my whys and my whats, just a quick overview of what that transformation is that I am at a point where I am locking my hair. I am on a lock journey. And not only am I on a lock journey, I am actually on a freeform lock journey. And I'll talk a little bit about that later on in the video as I explain, after I explain my why and how I ended up here. My personal goal has always been to reach a point of freedom when it's come to my hair, and that philosophy in itself has trickled down into other aspects of my life, and it's been tremendous breakthrough for me having that or being aware and acknowledging those other areas in my life where I just said, you know what, I want to break free from this chain and this prison and that prison, and it's been just a constant road of evolution when it's come to that. All roads ending at freedom, yet still beginning, you know. For me, what I started to notice about my big, giant, curly afro is that, number one, it is strongly associated with my image, just with who I am. People associate Taryn Guy with this big, froey, curly hair. And that's cool. You know, I love my afro. My afro is freaking amazing. But since it's been so strongly associated with my image, I've adapted it. Well, I would say that I've become very, very dependent on that image. And that has correlated with the way that I feel or my sense of presence. And I'll give you an example. For instance, going out to a social event or party, or just a place where you need to be present. You know, you may want to be seen, right? I would always feel like I would have to wear my afro, even if I didn't want to. Some days I don't feel like doing the fro. Some days I would have to wash it over in order to get it to look a certain way. And sometimes I would just want to throw it up in a turban or a bun or an updo, ponytail, whatever. And it's been times where, even though I wasn't necessarily in the mood for my afro, I felt the need to still push on and go through those motions just to have my hair out, so that when I step into the room or when I step into the place with style and grace, my afro's like bam, and it gets a lot of attention. And I had to be honest with myself, and I had to see myself feeding into that. And to a point, it's become a crutch or dependency for me to feel present. It's not really just about feeling cute or feeling pretty. To feel present, needing something outside of you to feel present, to feel here, that's a problem. That is a complete issue with me, because I know where that road ends, and it's not pretty. Because when all of that is taken away from you, you feel a bit empty or depleted, or you feel like you're not good enough without it. And I didn't want anything to be taken away from me in order to learn that lesson. So I really had to go into these weird feelings I was having towards my afro and how I depend on my afro so much to feel a certain way. I really had to be honest with myself, and I didn't like what I dug into. And I was just like, wow, I really feel like I need my fro to survive in these streets. So what I've been learning more as I faced this truth was the art of detaching. And detaching in a healthy way, of course. Detachment is one of the things, okay, when it comes to being free in any aspect. in any area. Detachment, not being dependent on something outside of you in order to feel free. This inspired this whole feeling, okay, and this acknowledgement of this honesty inspired me to start writing a book about it, because you know, it's a journey to freedom through my hair, but it's led me to so many different places. So symbolically, locking my hair is my way of detaching from that image in a very healthy way. Locking my hair has been weighing very heavy on my spirit for a very long time. This is not something that I just came up with like last night or, you know, fly-by-night decision. This is a commitment, and I had to just honor what I was feeling. And I was feeling this for a long time, but I was so afraid. I was so afraid to pull away from the image that everyone else is used to and that I became dependent on, which was the Afro image. So it wasn't that I was so in love with my hair that I couldn't possibly lock it. You know, no, that wasn't the feeling, because I was actually kind of over it in a sense. I was like, alright. But it was that fear of losing that image, because that image right there has been attached to so many things. So many things. It's been attached to how I make my money. It's been attached to how people see me. It's been attached to my esteem and how present I feel in a room. It's been attached to a lot. So that fear in wanting to do something that your spirit is telling you to do, but you're not doing it because of fear, once again, that was something I had to face head on. Hair has always been a reflection of truth that resides inside. Okay, no matter what, I mean, it could be fun and funky and you're just like, hair is not a big deal. But guess what? That carefree feeling that you have, hair is not a big deal, that's your truth. And that's what's inside of you. That is your personality, that is your character, that is everything that you are feeling. So that reflects through your hair, whether it's wearing funky colors and edgy haircuts and doing things like that. That still is a reflection. So once you start realigning yourself, right, everything outside of you has to transform and be a manifestation of that. That is just it. And when you try to deny that, that's when heavier feelings start to happen. And that's with anything in life. Anything that you need to let go of and you're holding on to out of fear will make you feel horrible. And that feeling horrible is an indicator, all right? It's an indicator that you need to go the other direction. Spiritually, I just felt like this represents my transformation, period. And hair in itself holds energy. It is a receiver as well as a transmitter of energy. Almost when you get the goosebumps and your hair stands up all over your body, those hairs are little antennas that actually transmit and receive energy. So if the hairs on your body are mini receivers and transmitters, the hair on your head is the ultimate control center of that. I truly believe that in the metaphysical way, absolutely. And because there's so much energy in my hair, as far as like just the story, because to me hair tells a story. And when you have locks, because the shed hair and because everything stays in a lock, it's almost easier to read like a book. And I didn't want to transform by cutting my hair off. I actually felt like locking my hair and locking in that old energy or that old life was important because it's a part of my story. And I respect that part of my story. And it's important to me, and I didn't want to get rid of it. You know how some people just want to get rid of it? I wanted to hold on to it and pay homage to it and thank it. And to me, locking my hair is thanking my past. It's holding on to it, but in a very healthy way. And also with new growth, moving forward into new growing as I respect my past. So it's almost like Sankofa philosophy. If you're familiar with the Sankofa bird, it's usually known as the bird of no regrets. And I have a visitor here. So it's an African symbol, and it's beautiful to me. I actually have an earring that represents the Sankofa, and it's so symbolic to me. I love that, the bird of no regrets. And to me, locking my hair, in a sense, is looking back into the past and once again showing gratitude, but also looking forward at the same time, and really looking forward to the growth in the future, and rewriting a new story. So to me, the spiritual meaning or symbolism behind it is huge for me, and it just makes sense and it resonates with me. Now, as far as locking my hair, I have gone down the lock rabbit hole when it has come to YouTube videos and doing my research, because once I made my decision, I made it. I knew I was locking my hair. Probably a month ago, I knew I was locking my hair. And I was watching all these lock videos and trying to figure out, okay, number one, who's gonna do my locks? What loctician do I need to go to? Who knows what they're doing? You know, because this is a very permanent thing, and trying to figure out what kind of parts I wanted and how big I wanted my locks and how I wanted them to fall and what products to use and da-da-da-da-da-da. It was this whole thing. And I had to stop myself. I was just like, this kind of doesn't really speak to me either. This just feels like, and this is once again just my experience and opinion, this feels like it's another one of those things that you become eventually dependent on, retwisting every other month, and having, you know, all of that maintenance was just like a lot. It seemed like a lot. And I was just like, this is what you have to do, right? You know, if you want to lock your hair, you got to keep it up. But I had to ask myself, I was just like, wait a minute. You don't even like parts, Taryn. You know, I don't like parts, okay? I hate straight parts for me, on me. So I typed in organic parting for locks. And when I typed that in, what popped up was freeform locking, freeform locks. And I was just like, what? This was like a whole new world and a whole new community of like locks to me, because I've never even heard of the term freeform at all. Now, I knew there were some people out there who just kind of let their locks go, but I didn't know there was like purpose behind that at all, to be honest. But when I started watching these videos, I was just like, wow, this resonates with me. This fits my personality, number one. It fits my style, and it feels right with my spirit. I immediately dropped the idea of going to a loctician. I knew that in order to freeform, I was going to do my own locks and start myself. So this became very exciting for me, because this was definitely a whole other thing. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with freeform locks are basically allowing your hair to do its thing without manipulation. So there is no twisting, there is no retwisting of any sort, and yeah, you're just kind of letting your hair organically lock up on its own. And it turns into a very beautiful, unique situation, because no one can duplicate these locks. This is the way your hair decided to lock over time, and this is how you wear your hair. So literally, it's just keeping it up. The only keep up, or upkeep, the only upkeep when it comes to freeform locking is washing your scalp and your hair. That's it. And it's just shampooing. You don't have to use conditioner. There are no butters and creams that you need for your locks. It's just literally washing your hair and going, leaving it alone. So that's kind of a scary thought for some people, but to me, this was pretty exciting. So I decided to semi-freeform, and the semi will disappear soon, because I'm at a point where I am officially into freeforming. But I say semi because I gave my hair a head start. I didn't just, because some people literally just wake up and stop combing their hair. make that decision that day, and they just let their hair lock up on their own. That's why you see all different kinds of shapes. You see like the Weeknd, and you know, these these amazing tree locks, tree trunks that you see, these one flat locks with like different locks, you know, forming at the bottom. Like these amazing art pieces form when you do it that way, right? One thing I noticed is that is very popular amongst the men and a lot of women, and which it's funny because when I was watching the videos, I didn't see a lot of women freeforming, but the women who were, there was some kind of control to how the locks will form, and that sat well with me. The way that I chose to freeform was to start my foundation on how just the sections that I wanted was through a twist out. I said, I'm going to twist my hair, take the twist out, and just let it be, period. That's what I said. I'm just going to let my hair lock from the twist out. And that just sat well with me because I do want separated locks. I don't want them to necessarily mat all together. And to avoid that, it's called popping your locks, okay? You just kind of separate after you wash a bit to make sure that they don't mat at the root, so that they can form on their, you know, separate tracks. So I was just like, all right, you know, I could do this. Also, I had to take the texture of my hair into consideration, or my curl pattern, I should say. I have a looser curl pattern, and your hair locks faster and much easier when you have a tightly coiled curl pattern. So I decided, knowing that, I was just like, my hair is going to take forever to lock. That's what it seemed like. So what I did, because I was watching a few tutorials, I had got a crochet needle, a very small crochet needle, and I started crocheting my lock on the inside to tangle it up and give it a head start. And I did maybe like 3, because it took like a long ass time. So when I was doing that, I was just like, nah, this ain't for me either. We just gonna freeform from this twist out, and we just gonna make it do what it do. That's what we're gonna do, Terrence. So I went through different decisions and stages on how I wanted to lock my hair, and it's one of the best decisions I've made. So I'm about 2 days in, I believe. Only 2 days in, y'all, and these are officially my baby locks. All right, baby locks are your beginner's locks. And yes, they are called locks, even though they're not fully formed yet. And my hair is tangling. It's funny because in this situation, tangling is a very good thing. And what I realized for my hair is that the more that I wash it, the more that I just wet it, the more tangled it gets. No conditioner, right? So you know how your hair gets when you just shampoo it. So my hair has been locking pretty fast because of washing my hair. They kind of remind me of the goddess lock look because of, you know, I have some curls at the end or whatever. But yeah, from here on, my hair is just gonna grow, and the new growth's gonna come in, and I'm just gonna leave it alone and just let it do its thing. My actual inspiration, look-wise, for my locks, even though, once again, no head of locks are the same, especially when it comes to freeforming, but my inspiration is this woman here, all right? I don't know how long she's been growing her locks out, but that is beautiful. Her hair is just so beautiful, and I've just been looking at different women with freeform locks, and it's one of the most beautiful and freeing journeys that you can go on. I've never felt this beautiful ever in my life, and I actually feel beautiful. Like, I feel it. It's real. This is the ultimate freedom for me, and it just radiates and reflects so many other areas in my life that this makes sense to me. It just makes sense. It just reminds me of like a beautiful plant. You know, all I have to do is just water it. That's literally all I have to do. And to just allow my hair to grow the way that it wants to grow and form the way that it wants to form with very little control, very little. that's beautiful to me. There's beauty in that. There's beauty in not interrupting nature's process. So yeah, this is why I decided to do this, and this is what I am doing. And I know this is very different from, you know, loose natural hair and all of that, but for those who are interested in keeping or staying updated on my personal lock journey, I'll be popping in every now and then, giving an update on how my locks are maturing. That's also another thing. These are baby locks, and once they start maturing, that's when you start seeing a more of a round looking lock, because all of the shed hairs, we shed about 100 hairs a day, so all of the shed hairs eventually fall and get tangled into your lock, which fills the little spaces. So usually when you first start out with locks, your starter locks are usually smaller than what they will eventually be. So my locks are actually going to be bigger, a little bit thicker and bigger, which I can't wait for. I love, because you see, even with my little curl pattern here, all of those spaces are going to fill in with shed hair and tangled hair. So I look forward to that. I look forward to the maturation of all of this, and I will definitely keep you guys updated. One message out of this is, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to honor what you feel. Honor how you feel, what you feel, whatever those messages are that are coming through to you constantly, that are like rendering in the background, just like an app that's open but not open. All right, that is your intuition, that is your spirit, and honor it. Honor it, even if it is a transformational change through hair, because like I said, that is a direct reflection of what's going on the inside. Just like your home is, you know, if you have a clean home, a dirty home, all of that, it reflects what's going on in your inner world. So if there's something that you want to do, just honor it. And if there's fear involved with that transformation, then it's time for you to just jump into the root of that and figure out, just ask yourself why. Why are you scared? And once you start going into the whys and the whys and the whys, you'll eventually get to this universal belief and root of what your fear is. And then you deal with it head on. And then you come out like a beautiful flower, and then you're ready to just move forward. And that goes for everything in life. For me, doing this just speaks to everything else. So I'm inspired, and I know there's not a lot of talk about freeform locks, especially amongst women, but I want to talk about it more. It's such a beautiful journey. I don't understand why people are not talking about it more. But that's going to change, all right? That is going to change for sure. Oh, let me give you a little turnaround of my beautiful mess. All right, so you can see this is the side, this is the back. All right, not ashamed here, not ashamed. And this is what's going on, and you can wear them in little funky styles. I had 2 ponytails yesterday when I was at Afro Punk. I've been wearing little updos and all that, which I think is just so cute. So yeah, I've been playing around with styles, and I'll play around with scarves and all that. But it's funny. Oh, one more thing, Afro Punk. One thing that's really quick. What was revealed to me that I really knew that I was ready for this is because I decided that my day 1 was Afro Punk. And that that wasn't on purpose. And the fact that I had my baby locks in, and I went to Afro Punk with all of these beautiful afros, loose, natural hair, curly, kinky, everything in between, big, small. The fact that all of this was around me, all right, to the to its exaggerated point, and I felt no kinds of way, showed me that this is real for me. Because if I wasn't ready for this journey, if I would have went to Afro Punk in my baby locks and I'm looking at everybody's Afro and I'm missing mine, or I'm wishing that I had it so that once again I can be present, then I knew that I wasn't fully ready yet. And so Afro Punk showed me. That was like my test to the ultimate, and I passed, and I was like, yes, I'm good. I'm good with this. So just wanted to share that with you. You will be tested, all right? You will see some amazing hair around you, but just hold tight, because this is a plant. It takes patience and watering and nurturing. So anyway, I'll see you guys later, and peace.